The purpose of this video is to introduce you to three planes you will frequently use when reading radiographs and studying anatomy: the axial, sagittal, and coronal planes. I've made a few structures out of Play-Doh here that I'll be physically cutting to give you a representation of what these planes look like, instead of just looking at them from a 2D perspective, such as this image here. After that, I have an example to show you of what a certain structure of the body looks like when cut in these three planes, and then rotated in a way that you would see it on a 2D radiograph, such as a CT. Now you may have seen an image like this before, showing you the orientation of an axial, sagittal, and coronal plane. I'll use this specific image in most of my later videos, as well as a recap. Basically, I'm going to give you a physical representation of this picture using these three balls of Play-Doh and my artist's tools that I have right here. So let's first start with the coronal plane, shown right here. I'm going to take this yellow ball of Play-Doh, and the first thing I'm going to do is just draw a face on it so we know which one is the anterior side. Little smiley face right there. And now I'm going to take my knife and make some coronal cuts for you. Now I'm not going to cut through the entire Play-Doh because it loses its shape. I'm just going to show you which way the coronal lines are going. Okay, let me bring it up to the camera for you. So we have 4 coronal cuts in this image. I'll rotate again. Here was our anterior side. I made a cut here, 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 and here. Moving on to the sagittal plane. Once again, I'll draw a little smiley face and our ball of Play-Doh. That one looks a little angry. And I'm going to make some sagittal cuts. Alrighty, let me bring it up close to the camera for you. We have a sagittal cut here, 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 and here. And that was the anterior side. Last but not least, moving on to the axial cut. Once again, I'll draw a little smiley face. And make axial cuts. Sort of destroying his face in the entire process. So I have axial cuts here, 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 and here. Next, we're going to pretend that this is the abdominal aorta, and I'm going to cut it in an axial, coronal, and sagittal plane, and then rotate it to show you what it would look like on a CT. So first I'm going to start with an axial cut. And I'll rotate it toward the camera. And that's how the abdominal aorta would look on an axial CT. It's almost a perfect circle going through the entire CT. It really keeps its shape and stays very easy to recognize. Now next, I'm going to make a sagittal cut using the same piece of Play-Doh. And I'll rotate that again. And that's generally what the shape of the abdominal aorta would look like on a sagittal CT. It mostly keeps its long and cylindrical shape. I'm going to go ahead and reform this a little bit so I can give you a better idea of what a coronal CT will look like. All right, last but not least, let's cut it like a coronal CT. I'm going to rotate it up toward the camera for this one. And that's how the aorta would look like on a coronal CT. Again, it keeps its long cylindrical shape very similar to that of the sagittal CT, although it usually looks wider on the coronal CT. Thanks for watching, and I hope this video was a good introduction to the types of planes you'll see in radiology and anatomy.